You're listening to Kids Ministry Answers from Stuff You Can Use, from Stuff You Can Use, from StuffYouCanUse.org.
Welcome to Kids Ministry Answers. My name is Jason.
And my name is Linda, and this is a podcast where you ask the questions and we help you find the answers.
All right, Linda, so good to be with you
Hi,
today.
Jason.
Hi.
Yes, it is.
Great to be with you.
Sorry, I agreed with you, saying it's good for you to be here with me.
That's a good way to start the episode. We agree to agree with each other. Yeah, it's great to be here. We agree on that. So we're going to be talking about VBS today. So I thought a good way to get into this would be, I know that you and I have probably been through a lot of VBSs and the ministries we've been a part of. So let's talk some favorite moments and some least favorite moments. So what is your most favorite moment when it comes to VBSs, and then some of your maybe not so great moments at VBSs?
Okay, here goes. A little bit of a highlight reel. This is just something that spans all years I've done VBS, and I have been a part of VBS as a student and as a volunteer and as director for many years. And so through all of the times that I have conducted VBSs, I think my favorite is worship time. I love worshiping with kids, and singing and dancing together with kids is so fun. And for some reason, that VBS atmosphere just lends to a little bit less inhibition. So the kids are like zanier, they're more excited, and they're hyped. And then
100%.
Usually we have a lot of youth group volunteers who also get really into it. And so when they see these big kids dancing, they're like, oh, I guess it's cool. So then they kind of join in. And so just hearing them like singing and dancing, and because you are also a worship leader, but I'm also a worship leader. And so like just yelling things out at kids to be like, like when we sing songs to be like, you said what? And then they're just all excited about it. Like that's such a vibe.
It gets loud at VBS for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And it's not just because, it's a fun vibe, but it's really hearing children sing and watching them just have fun worshiping. That just really warms my heart. And I'm just like, wow, this is such a great place to be. I love doing that.
Same.
So that's like top fave, hands down. Worshiping with kids is my favorite. But then also another thing I really loved is one thing that we built into our VBSs is we built in like a staff lock-in on the last day of camp or VBS or whatever, however we structured it. So what we found was, especially like high school, college kids, like they want to stay up later because they're used to it. They want to hang out, play Mafia in the mess hall, whatever. But we're like, hey, this is a safety issue. You need to be with the kids. Like we need you not to wander off and do your own thing. So I promise you on the last day, we will do a lock-in where you can stay up as late as you want and play all the games and be rowdy. But while we're with the kids, I need you to just stay focused and be with the kids. And that was a really great way to keep them like on task.
Such a cool idea.
To be like, okay. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we'll get our free day later. So we'll just like keep it together for now and then we'll let loose later. And the best part for me as a camp director is we paired that lock-in with cleanup. So we're like, okay, like the first couple of hours of our lock-in is we're going to clean everything up. It's like, we like blasted the music and just had a lot of sleep-deprived fun, just like cleaning things up, putting things away. And then we had some food, some games. We played so many rounds of Mafia. Like it's a good time. The next day we all sleep in and wake up groggy, but so good. Yeah. So those are my favorite moments. My least fave, I'll do them really quickly, is registration. I hate registration because I am not a good salesperson, and so I'm like, I have this really good thing here, I wish people would just come to it, but now I have to go like sell it, and that was not a favorite for me. So I don't put me on any kind of promotion team. And then the second thing is just kind of a meta introspective reflection is I did not like being a camp director in my 20s because I was thrust into leadership really young. And so I was just trying really hard to be like, I'm a leader. So I lacked flexibility and I didn't have a lot of compassion. And so I feel like I could have done a better job if I knew what I know now. So I did not like the 20-year-old self that was leading camps and VBSs back then.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I'll say it doesn't surprise me the younger Linda was thrust into leadership early. I did not have that problem. young Jason did not experience.
They're like, do not give him anything.
So I'll just say that. So most favorite moment is a personal thing, and it relates to what you were talking about in terms of worship. So it was one of the first VBSs that my oldest son Isaiah was at, and he's kind of a quiet, reserved kid, and he was just dancing all out, man. I still have a video of him pumping his arms back and forth as hard as he could
so fun.
while he's dancing. And I just remember thinking like, wow, yeah, like VBS is a special environment, man, where people do really lose a little bit of that inhibition, and it's driven by the adults and the people you have involved that are willing to do that too. And so that's definitely, I have that picture in my mind, that video of him dancing, and it just like, that always sticks out to me when I think of VBS. Least fave, easy. There was one VBS I was a part of where I was leading worship, and it was boys versus girls in this challenge. And if the girls won, then I would get doused with pudding, like have to be in this bath and pudding dumped over my head.
Was it a particular flavor?
I think it was chocolate. Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
And
wow, gross.
I actually, the boys did win. And so the woman leader who was on the other side, she ended up being the one that had to get the pudding bath. But the dread of thinking about this happening the whole week was the worst. I couldn't really enjoy, the VBS as much because I was just dreading this getting doused with pudding. I did not want that to happen. Yeah, it wouldn't have been
that
fun.
Your least favorite moment is not something that happened,
not
but something that happened.
We could get into that. Speaking of meta, that would be very meta for you to think about. Yeah, it's not something that did happen, something that almost happened.
We dug deep with the emotions and the feelings that came with leading VBS.
Yes. And this is, of course, a great intro into our question for today. So let's hear it.
Hi, I'm Danelle, and I'm from Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm a kids ministry leader, and I was wondering, how do you start planning for VBS?
Yeah, so I think that question is such an important one, even for people who have done VBSs many times before.
Right.
Because even for me, I have so much experience running VBSs, but every year it's like, okay, where do I start?
Yes.
And so asking for help, asking, well, how do you do it? How do other people do it? And trying to find out the best method and system that works for your context is such a wise way to start the conversation and get ready for VBS season, because it's coming, guys. It's coming real soon.
Yeah. I think it's a big question, a great question, because you want VBS to feel fresh every year. You never want it to feel like the same old thing that we did last year. Also, I know probably both of us have experience with different contexts for VBS. Like now I'm in a smaller church, now I'm in a bigger church. So, just some general ideas about like the big questions you need to ask before you jump into this thing that feels huge, which is VBS preparation. And so good that we have the great Emily Nguyen, who has a lot of experience.
The great Emily Nguyen.
Yeah. Has so much experience when it comes to doing VBS and working with kiddos. And so she is going to share some of her knowledge with us today, and we're so happy to have her here. Well, we are here today with the great Emily Nguyen. We are so lucky to work with her here at Stuff You Can Use. And Emily, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am the curriculum coordinator here at Stuff You Can Use, and I love working with kids. I'm also a pediatric occupational therapy assistant, but I've been a volunteer in Kidsman, and I worked on staff at churches doing a lot with kids' curriculum and experiences. And I think that's actually when I initially got started connected with Stuff You Can Use as a contract writer. I worked on some series, and some of them were VBS series, and they were really fun to work on. That was my first time actually working on VBS curriculum, but I've done 3 series now. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and they're really good. And like everybody who listens to KMA by now knows that Jason and I are suckers for good puns.
Yes.
And Emily is the queen of puns. So you see a lot of really, and they're not like the average ones, like the normal ones you would see on a greeting card. They're so clever. And, Emily, you and I have worked together for a long time, and she won't sell herself. She won't tell us how great she is, but she's so good at what she does. And we're so excited to have you here today. So thank you for joining us on the pod.
I will say one of my most favorite ones was wildlife. Because that one, I tried to make it like Jungle Cruise at Disneyland. You know how they have all those silly jokes and flat puns. But yeah, that was, I think, one of my favorites.
Nice.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
so y'all can go check that out, and we'll talk about that a little bit more today, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say that I work with Emily a lot. She does our Bible story writing on Callie's World, and she just has an uncanny ability to know how kids need to hear a Bible story. As I read through it, I'm always just amazed by her ability to do that. So it is awesome to have you with us today, Emily. Okay, Emily, what we're going to be talking about today is how we can prep for VBS. So, Emily, what is the number one thing you want to do when you're trying to get ready for VBS?
Well, I will say first that this isn't the only way to prep for VBS, but it is a really great way that we do it at Grow, and it's set your goals first. So goals is our acronym. It kind of gives us why do you do VBS? Why do you want to do VBS? And so goal stands for G, stands for God, deepen. We want kids to deepen their relationship with God. And O stands for outreach. We really want kids to advocate for the real needs in their community and beyond. And A stands for adventure. We want kids to really be able to participate in out of the ordinary and fun activities and really spark a sense of wonder in them as they learn about God. And L stands for learning. We want them to gain more knowledge about scripture and how to apply it to their lives. And S stands for serving. We want them to develop that posture of helpfulness and kindness towards others. And VBS is a great place to start that.
Yeah, these are so good. And it really helps to start out with a why. And I think a lot of times when we prep for VBS, we kind of neglect that step because we're like, oh, we do this every year. We know what we have to do. And we kind of rely on only the tradition alone of doing it annually. So then when we don't fully establish our why in the beginning, then it kind of becomes a chore. And it's just like, oh, we just go through the motions and we don't even know what success looks like at the end of VBS. It's just like, oh, we survived it. Right?
It's a lot of hard work.
I mean, these are big goals. Yeah, these are big goals, but it's good to identify which of these things we really want to lean on each year. And I think that's a really great place to start.
Yeah, the one that stuck out to me was adventure. And it's kind of related to what you were talking, Emily, or Linda, what you were talking about, because you don't want it to just feel like you're going through the motions. And I think adventure is something that we want for VBS, but it's not often talked about. Like, hey, we want this to be adventurous. But all the themes we have for VBS are often adventurous. And so it's kind of an unspoken goal that we don't say much. So I think it's brilliant to put it right there in your goals. So it's kind of a spoken thing. Like, hey, we want this to be out of the norm. We want it to, like you said, spark a sense of wonder. These are the things that we're actually striving for, and we're saying it out loud.
Yes.
Right. VBS by design is an out of the ordinary experience, right? So we don't want to make it like your ordinary Sunday school experience. It has to be different. It has to really create something different and want kids to be hyped and excited for what is this thing, and maybe get them engaged early on.
Totally. And I feel like there are so many new kids who come too, friends from church who want to bring their friends from school or their neighborhood friends. And it's such a great way to make church fun, but also just learning more about who Jesus is.
Yes, 100%. Great stuff, Emily. Yes, definitely want to set your goals. So what is the number 2 thing we want to do when we're prepping for VBS?
Number 2 is planning. And keep it simple, right? We want to simplify the planning process. But first, there's so many different kind of ways to do VBS, like the different kind of formats. You could do 4 days, 5 days, half days, weeknights, overnight camps. There's so many different ways to do it. So figuring out what works best for your church and your ministry and your families. It doesn't have to be long to be effective. And one thing I personally experience is like choosing dates when most kids won't be on vacay, because my family was a big summer vacay family. So it would have been great if, we could have gone to more VBSs. So there's that.
Yeah.
So after you figure out what format you want to use, the next thing to do is figure out what curriculum you want to use. And obviously, we want you to use Girls' curriculum for VBS, which is What's Cookin'. Obviously, yes, it's coming out this summer.
Yay.
Yes, completely
It's free.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, it makes it so great and easy for so many churches. And when was the last time that you found a VBS that had to do with cooking and food? Super, super fun. Of course, you can choose what's best for your context. There are resources out there. You can Google online, comparing VBSs. There's so many to choose from. So choose what's best for you.
Awesome.
Yes, and I know we're not biased at all, but of course we're going to suggest you use What's Cooking because What's Cookin' because we're cool. And it's such a fun VBS. I will say this again and again, but Emily played a really big part in developing that one. And so it's got the food puns, it's got food-related games. We've also been really mindful about not wasting food in that as well, interestingly enough. So it's a really good series. But also, we're letting you know that you can do whatever you want. And like Emily was saying, like, choose what works for your context. I remember at my old church, it was a year when the other curriculum companies came out with a VBS called Deep Sea Discovery, and then there was another one called Cave Quest.
Yeah.
And this was before I worked at Grow, so this is when I was primarily writing my own curriculum. And I was like, I like bits and pieces of both, so we kind of merged them together, and we decided to do a VBS called Deep Sea Quest, just like putting them together. So there's a lot of creativity at play here, but at the end of the day, find the one that works for you and feel free to like mix things up and use parts of different VBSs that you have access to.
Well, I think what was cool about what you shared is just like the idea of simplifying your planning for VBS, because I think no one thinks simple when they think of planning for VBS. I think it's like,
so many
it feels
pieces.
huge.
It feels like a huge thing, right? And I think for people who don't even know where to start, like maybe they've never done this before, I think the points you laid out here are a great way to even get started. Like, what are the big questions you want to ask as you're starting your planning for VBS?
Yeah, because even the thing, like the formats that you talked about, like, is it a 4-day? Is it a 5-day? Is it once a week? Is it a camp? Like, there's really no wrong answer. Like, at the end of the day, the kids are going to love showing up. The parents are going to be excited to have another opportunity for kids to be exposed to Bible and fun, right? There's whatever format works for you, just do it boldly. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, exactly. Well, Emily, that was awesome. It's definitely great to simplify planning when it comes to VBS and kind of think of those big questions you need to ask as you're getting started. So what would you say is the number 3 thing when it comes to prepping for VBS?
Well, now that you got an idea what you're going to do, you got to think about your volunteers. Who do you want on your team? So you got to start recruiting, and that involves, we like to keep invites personal, thinking about those one-on-one invitations, like being clear too about what roles you want them to be in. If you know someone's artsy, like, hey, would you want to be part of designing stage design? Maybe they're great teachers and you want them to teach a certain part or be an activity leader. Just keeping those invitations super personal, I think goes a long, long way when recruiting volunteers. And And then you want to start really thinking about who do you want for your backbone? Like, who's going to be this planning team? Who's going to really get you through VBS and all the things that need to go into it. There's so many things. So thinking about, arts leaders who's going to do maybe some of those crafts on VBS and think about those stage designs and all that. And activity leaders who's going to help with the games and activities and really have that amped up feel and fun to them. And of course, there's like music and snacks. There's so many different roles. So think about what people you want, what positions that you want to fill, I guess, for your team, but really what you need for your own needs to pull off your VBS. And that could be a lot or a little, depending on what you need. A lot of times it's a lot, but you never know.
It is a lot. Yeah, and I like this idea of having the planning team because I don't know if kids ministry leaders, you might relate to this, but we have a lot on our plate and there's a lot that we tend to take on by ourselves and think we're the only ones who can do it because we don't want to burden our staff or burden other volunteers.
But
getting a planning team, so I know we have to get away from that. So having a planning team, and which is a team of volunteers who have already said yes and they're on board and they want to help you with your VBS. Now you help them like own parts of the VBS. Be like you were saying, like arts leaders and activities leaders, like these people can, take parts of it and really make it their own. And it not only takes work off your plate, but it really gives them ownership of like, I wasn't just helping do something, I was actually in charge of something. And I think that really inspires teamwork, that inspires just like they're proud of the VBS that they put together. And I think that's a really big part of motivating your volunteers too.
Definitely.
Yeah. So anything else when it comes to thinking about your volunteers for VBS?
Well, like Linda said, once you got all the people that you want, you also want to kind of have these work days. Like we suggest organizing volunteers about 1 to 2 months in advance for these work days, maybe once a week or so, whatever they can help out with. But these days are really set aside for building those sets and those props and just those big pieces that need to get done. And just having the volunteers come together and do that, I think kind of helps with the excitement for it too, but gets them excited.
Yeah. I agree. I think one of the things that sticks out to me when you're thinking about volunteers for VBS is making sure you like plan well in advance. And maybe Emily, you can speak to this in terms of like VBS is like a big ask, right? It's a big ask for your volunteers.
Totally it is.
So I just know I've had experience where it's like, hey, VBS is next week. So can you help with this? Or like, where you're throwing it out like very close to when the VBS is going to happen?
No.
Spontaneous
So,
VBS.
how much in advance do you think we should be planning for our volunteers, Emily?
That's a great question. I think about 8 weeks in advance is really a great time to get volunteers moving and grooving. At Grow, for our VBSs, we include a planning doc that has kind of like a checklist, what to do every, when you're 8 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, things like that. And it's super helpful, keeps things organized, gets you thinking about what you really need to do with your planning and your recruiting and training. So those are all
that's a good timeline.
Yes, definitely a great tool. Will keep you from doing what I talked about. Like, hey, next week is VBS. I need all these volunteers.
Are you free?
Can
you just come through real quick?
Yeah, just stop by whenever you can. You definitely don't want to do that. So I think also what was great about what you were talking about is the delegation thing. I have like a vivid just image in my mind of VBS leaders who are overwhelmed, running around during the VBS week because they didn't delegate and they're trying to lead everything all at once and they're in complete VBS meltdown. So I think the things you shared, definitely with your volunteers, you want to use your volunteers to keep you away from the VBS meltdown. And this is a great way to do that. So thanks so much for sharing it. Definitely think about your volunteers with VBS. So what is the number 4 thing that we want to think about when it comes to prepping for VBS, Emily?
Well, you got your curriculum, you got your team. Now you got to get people to come. So you want to tell people all about it. And I think this is like such a fun time is when you're really going to be promoting it. And I think there's so many different ways to do it. And I think there's one underrated way to kind of start. But honestly, weekly tabling, just being out in the open, physical presence, having people walk by and be able to see like fun graphics and, VBS sign up, have a QR code that families can scan to register. I think it is so important to have that visibility where, people can just come up and ask questions and you're just there to answer those questions. I think that's really fun. You can level it up by having some giveaways, like the first X amount of people that sign up, like you get these prizes or something, just making it really fun, really, really fun. So that's one way to tell people about it. Another way are kid-made invitations where you just have kids make something that they can give to a friend outside of church, and it's inviting them to VBS to come with them, to come have fun, learn about God with them. I think that is such a fun way to do that. I remember one year it was like a superhero theme, like when I worked at a church, and it was like lollipops, and they put these little capes on it with the invitation, and I know it was so cute, super easy, little things like that can go a long way. Another way is simply word of mouth. The more personal you are with like asking people to come, like, you're messaging people, you're calling them up and, hey, we had this VBS coming up, come check it out. I think your kids would love it. That is a great way to do that. And another way you could tell people about it is, hey, it's free babysitting. It's not the best way to go about it, but hey, it is.
No, I agree. Because if they're going to see us as glorified childcare sometimes, like lean into that and just be like, yeah, drop off your kids. We're going to have so much fun.
Especially during the summer. A lot is going on during the summer. Maybe you're trying to work.
The parents are, please take my children out of the house.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. But there's so many other ways too. There's social media, there's community newsletters, bulletins, flyers, lots of large signage with, the fun graphics and
in your neighborhood.
Yes, neighborhood, definitely.
There's so much good stuff in here. I think what's inherent in all of it is like you can't do too much promo when it comes to VBS.
Yeah.
Like you want people to come, so all these different ways would be great if you can pull it off. There's so much good ideas.
Be overexposed.
Exactly. The free babysitting thing is so genius because it's what people think anyway. So you might as well lean into it and be like, yeah, we're gonna like you said, Emily, especially during the summer, where parents need a break from their kiddos. This is a great way to sell them on what VBS is. So
listen, I know families that hop from VBS to VBS so that they have kids enrolled in programming all summer. And so it's interesting because if one of our goals is outreach and we want people to come to our church, it's sometimes hard when we have people who are like, oh, we go to a church where this is just our summer field trips. But it's really great because, you could create an atmosphere that makes people think oh, maybe we want to come here on Sundays too.
Definitely. I think that's kind of cool. I feel like a lot of families kind of stay in their bubble. But that is a cool way that they can get out of their bubble a little bit. If their kids really have a lot of fun, they could branch out. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said that the tabling is underrated. And I do agree. It is underrated, but it's so valuable because visibility is everything. Like Jason was saying, you can't over promote. Yeah. And I remember because I work at a Korean immigrant church, and for some reason, I mean, we know the reasons, but our first generation congregation members were so resistant to like technology. So I remember even like early on, we would have like iPads at these tables and we would say, hey, come and, register right now. And you have these QR codes. You're like, I don't know what this is. But like in a weird kind of unfortunate but silver lining kind of way, like COVID exposed the world to QR codes. And now like all the congregation members know what to do every time we put a QR code up. And so I think that's a really cool way to tell people, hey, we're here. Our kids ministry is doing things. And also we're giving stuff away. So come win some prizes.
But I like your idea with having the iPads out, like right there, already ready for them to input their info. That's a great idea.
I think giveaways has been one of the most successful ones that I've used for VBS. The giveaways always seem to like get people involved in it as soon as possible because people want to win stuff. So I think that's a super good idea. All these are great ideas. Thanks so much for sharing them, Emily. So number 4 is tell people about it. What is the number 5 thing when it comes to prepping for VBS?
Yes.
Number 5.
And the last thing I have is to really partner with others. I mean, we kind of talked about outreach already, but there are service projects and other outreach events or experiences that you can connect to your VBS. It's a great way to give kids that experiential learning, as in like connecting what they're learning with practical opportunities to really serve others and use their gifts to help others and towards like a bigger goal. I think that's really important to really, kids can gather around that and learn about, God's heart for someone else. Another way.
Have you seen how the service project angle like works out? Like for people who've never incorporated that element into their VBS, like have you seen how that could look?
Oh yeah. So a lot of times, well, this kind of goes in with my next point too, but partnering with other churches. But a lot of time, I've seen churches, particularly one that I was on staff at. We would partner with one of our churches in another country, and they would have a project that we could, give towards. And we've seen kids do lemonade stands, bake sales, all these things to raise money for that goal. And it would go towards like, we've done things like raising money to build a school, getting school supplies, things like that, clean water. And it's such a great way to see kids so excited to do these lemonade stands and bake sales and tell others. They're literally on the corner of, their neighborhoods telling people about this. And, we give them these little promo things to, show them exactly what they're raising money for. And it's a great way to not only partner with other churches, but, expand the kids' learning of what it means to want to serve others and help others and God's heart for that.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. I think partnering with other churches is especially cool. I come from a small church context, and so I know that partnering with other churches and organizations is huge in terms of how to pull off a VBS. So what else in terms of partnership would you say about VBS, Emily?
So that's one way to partner with parents by getting those photos of the kids, but also even after VBS, staying connected to the families by checking in to see how they're doing. Postcards, I feel like, is one of those ways to do that. And depending how...
It's a dying art, but I love getting a postcard.
Right? Isn't it so fun?
It's so fun.
Especially if it's addressed to the kid. I think kids love getting mail.
Yes. Right. Because how many opportunities do kids have to get snail mail?
Right?
Exactly.
So that's a great way to just check in and maybe even invite them back to church. That's definitely a way to do that. And another way to partner with parents is, of course, sending out a reminder of all the things that their kids learned at VBS so that the families can talk about it together. And I think it's super easy to do that, sending out an email or even printing out, what the big idea or Bible story that they learned. I think that's really just a simple way to kind of keep the conversation about God moving in families.
Yeah, I think all this is so great. What I'm hearing, behind this partnering with others idea, especially with parents, is that you want this to move on from just the VBS week or weekend or whenever it is, into kids' actual lives. I think, and maybe Emily, you could speak to this more, but VBS can feel like its own little bubble that they're existing in for a short period of time because it is so different from what they experience at other times, even at church. And so I think it's very easy for kids to be like, okay, well, that was fun. Now that's done. Moving on to the next thing. So any way you can
moving on to the next
gap,
VBS.
Yeah, next VBS or next camp or whatever it is. Any way you can bring it into their actual real lives, which I think the projects, the outreach thing was so cool. I never really experienced that when I was a kid. I don't know if you experienced that, Emily, when you were in VBSs as a kid. But I never really had that. And so that was that should be something that you always do, is some sort of way to get outside the church and do some outreach projects. I just thought that was a very cool thing to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not something that I think maybe is not something that is a main goal for a lot of VBSs, but it brings so much impact. And I think it's important for kids to really see that impact, that they can have impact. And
I
think
it's
you're
a
right.
great reminder to tell kids the stories that we're learning from the Bible, the big ideas that we're teaching them. It doesn't end with you. It doesn't end with our church, but our community and even globally. And I think giving them little, kid-sized opportunities to participate in that and what God is doing elsewhere, it's so valuable. And I think we need to do more of that, but definitely at VBS. So that's really good.
For sure. Well, Emily, thanks so much for sharing all of this great knowledge that you have about prepping for VBS. It was all so good, so helpful.
Should we do a quick recap to see if we remember them all? It's like a pop quiz for Jason and me.
What do you guys do?
Do you remember what the first
What's
one
the first
was?
thing?
What was the first one?
Set your goals was
Set
number
your
one.
goals.
Number 2.
Don't ask me about the acronym.
You sure? You want to give it a shot?
I remember G was God.
God, outreach,
Outreach, we just talked about.
Learning, and serving.
Yes.
A+.
And I know number 2 is the simplify your planning. That one to me stood out a lot just because it's so counterintuitive to what we think about when we think about VBS planning.
Yeah.
So I think
we have to expand it. Yep.
Yeah.
3 was think about your volunteers.
Yes, recruit early.
Respect their time.
Promoting it. Tell people about it.
Tell people about it.
You want people to come.
Yes,
and then
we
the
do.
Partnering was number 5, partnering with others, which I think also is such a great, all of these.
These are such good points.
Okay, well, before we let you go, Emily, again, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else that you want to highlight or promote before we say our final goodbye?
Oh, well, of course. Obviously, again, I want to promote What's Cookin' VBS.
What's Cookin'?
What's Cookin'? It's going to be chaos in the kitchen, but so much fun. I do want to highlight two kind of newish things that we are making for this one, and we'll be updating other ones. But we're making station rotation, guys, because you guys, users, wanted it.
You asked for it.
Yes,
Woo.
ask and you shall receive.
We gave
It'll
it.
be customizable, but we'll also give you the samples for it. I know a lot of churches do station rotation, so I feel like that'll be so helpful and so valued. And so we're so happy that you guys asked for it. And we're so happy that we are making it for you. And then another one is just preschool too. We don't do a preschool only VBS version, but what we have done is doing more robust preschool hacks. And really, it's gonna, I think, make it really easy for you to do a little preschool VBS. And I think you guys really, really like that too.
Yes. And I think, Emily, your experience with occupational therapy and working with kids like really shines through in these hacks because like you get kids and you know how to grab their attention, you know what's developmentally appropriate. So these preschool hacks are really going to be a game changer for those of you who are wanting a separate preschool track. And like Emily mentioned, it is going to be on the station rotation guide. So really excited for you all to get this in your hands for free.
Yes. Don't miss out.
Yes. So thank you so much for that, Emily. And again,
thank you, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely awesome
This is so
having
fun.
you. So much fun talking to you.
Thank you for everything you shared with us. I know Jason said final goodbye, but this is not the final goodbye.
We talked to Emily a lot. It won't be the final goodbye. But
just for
this podcast, yes. And I do want to say that behind the scenes, Emily is one of our favorite people in the world. So it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Give it up for Emily.
Thank you,
Nguyen.
Emily. Yay, Emily.
See you soon.
Clap, 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 clap.
See ya.
Okay, that was such a good conversation we had with Emily. You know, you and I both love her dearly, but just everything that she brought to the table, just in the ways in which she laid it out for us and how to prep in this really simplified way, even though, like we kept saying, we didn't anticipate planning to be simple, but it can be. And so we were so happy to have that conversation. And as Emily mentioned, we do have a free VBS available. So go check it out. It's called What's Cookin'. A little fun plug is the theme song. Jason helped most of the writing of that theme song, and it's such a hit. It's going to rival Golden from K-pop Demon Hunter. Sorry, now I'm overselling it. I'm sorry for overselling it, but that's how much I love this song, guys.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a really fun VBS, has a lot of planning resources for you. There's a lot of goodies packed into it. So go and check it out. You can find it at growcurriculum.org.
Yes. Yeah. What's Cookin' will be awesome. I think, I agree with you. That was a great conversation. And so much of what I appreciate about what Emily said is that it would fit to multiple contexts is what she was talking about in terms of VBS.
Yes.
So what a cool conversation to have. Okay, Linda, it is that time for us to talk about what we are into. So what is it that you are into these days?
Okay, I am into the movie Zootopia 2. I saw it twice. It's so good. I loved Zootopia, the first one, and I remember thinking, wow, this is so interesting and so clever. And I was like, I don't know how they're going to follow it up, but they did it again. It's so clever. It's such a good commentary on very real challenges we face as a society.
Yeah.
And like the bunny and the fox, they're so cute. Their dynamic is so good. And I read somewhere that a lot of the movies that are being made right now are by millennials, and they sometimes endearingly call us the therapy generation.
Yes.
And they did it again. It's so heartwarming. They really tackle a lot of both individual and global issues, and it's so funny. It's so funny. So that I'm just full send on Zootopia 2. What about
Very
you?
Cool. I have not seen Zootopia 2.
Oh my goodness.
I saw
Stop
Wicked
everything.
2 at the same time as my kids were seeing Zootopia 2. So
You're
I
like,
do
"I'ma
need
go
to
this
check
way."
it out. Yeah, we were with our family, so we could split up like that. And they went to Zootopia 2 and we went to Wicked 2.
Yeah, I think you need to reevaluate your life choices, though.
Maybe I
Just
should,
kidding.
yeah. Because I love Jason Bateman, and he plays the fox,
The fox.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so big fan
his
of that.
voice is perfect. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I need to check that out. In terms of what I am into, Minecraft is what I'm into.
Oh, uh-huh.
I know that's not
You
like
and the rest of the world.
the rest of
It's
the
so
world. but
big.
I've been doing these building parties with my boys where we like put it on creative mode, so you don't have to worry about the zombies or anything, or the nighttime, and you just build together. We build houses, and my Yeah, we currently are working on like a McDonald's that we're building. It's like different stuff that we can put together. And it, uses their imaginations. That's my justification for doing video game time with my boys. So
hey, you don't need it. It's fun time you're spending with your boys. I think that's great.
Yeah, especially because it's cold here now. So, we can't get outside as much as we we got to stay indoors. So that's what I'm into. So yeah. Thanks so much.
Can you come and play Minecraft with my boys, actually? Because they're into it. They're trying to get me into it. And I'm like, I don't understand how this works.
Yeah, you should get into it. It really is like a creative thing when you're in that creative mode.
Okay.
When you get into the survival mode, then it gets kind of like not really into that part. But the creative mode is really cool because there's no limits.
Right, you may need to teach
whatever.
me.
Yeah.
The next episode of KMA.
I'll talk about Minecraft. I'm sure our listeners will love it. So, well, thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much to our listeners. And of course, to the great question that we got today, something we all think about in terms of how we prep for this huge thing that we call VBS. And
thank you, Emily, for being our guest.
Yeah, another big shout out to Emily for all the information that she shared with us. And just another shameless plug for What's Cookin' VBS from Grow Curriculum. Check it out at growcurriculum.org. It will be great. I'm very excited for What's Cookin' to get out into the world. If you have a ministry question that you would like Linda and I to talk about on the Kids Ministry Answers podcast, you can send it as a voice message to KMA.show. So again, thank you so much for listening. Always great.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, to be here with Linda, and take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.